And head coach Brian Callahan is part of the show every week.
Our segments with Coach Callahan are known as Callie's Corner, and they're presented by SeatGeek.
Tyjae Spears, he got back on the scene in a big way against the Cincinnati Bengals. He had 92 yards from scrimmage. He had 2 touchdowns. Could you see that coming in practice last week?
Absolutely I could. I thought Tyjae's really, he's had an up and down year with some injuries and been in and out of the lineup, and nothing that was too serious, but just sort of took momentum from him to some degree, and to see the way he's practiced the last 3 weeks, and really the way he's played in the last 2 games has been a product of his practice consistency. He's been really good in the practices over the weeks, and Tony Pollard has missed significant practice time due to his injury, and so he's gotten a lot of reps and opportunity. I think you're seeing the effects of that on Sunday. He's kind of back to the Tyjae that I was hoping to see a lot of, and he's had 2 really good games, I thought, just doing things the way they're supposed to be done and playing with a bunch of effort and energy and making plays with the ball in his hand. And so that was good to see, and hopefully that continues. And again, just due to Tony's fighting through some things too, we need him to play a pretty significant role like he did, and he answered the bell.
All right, we've let too much time pass without talking about T'Vondre Sweat, because the play of the game was him taking that ball from Joe Burrow and running down the field 30 yards. It was incredible. There were so many things about that play that just make it so much fun to watch. What stood out to you, Brian Callahan?
I mean, the stiff arm was pretty remarkable. And then just, the athleticism for a man his size is pretty impressive. I mean, he's the definition of rumbling and bumbling and stumbling down the field. But I thought it was just great effort on his part, the awareness to go get the ball. As Joe's kind of on top of a body, so he wasn't down, and to go get the ball out of his hands and then, get a return and positive yards out of it was awesome. I've not seen guys do that very often, so that was cool. But I think the coolest part for me is when you watch what happens when he's on the sideline and just how excited the team is and how much energy they have. And that was a really awesome moment in an early part of the game that I was like, oh, this might be our day today, early in that game with the way we had started it out.
So you did not see Anthony Richardson at quarterback for the Colts on October 13th. You'll see him this weekend. What's it like preparing for the second-year quarterback out of Florida?
You see his talent. You see why he got selected where he was selected. He's got a huge arm. He can really throw the ball down the field, and he's really a unique athlete. I mean, he's with the ball in his hand and him running the football and the challenges that poses. It's a whole different style you have to get ready for, and you have to play a disciplined brand of football with the quarterback run game. That's something that we've not been great at this year, so we're going to have to be on top of those things in this game. And then, when you get a chance to get him down, you got to get him down, and you got to get him on the ground because he can break runs at any point, whether it's in the drop back pass game or the quarterback read game. He's got the ability to create explosive plays, and you got to respect that part of it. And I know he's had his ups and downs as a passer this year, but he's very capable of winning football games, and he's got really high-end talent. And so we got to be on top of making sure that talent doesn't get a chance to show itself on Sunday.
What's the challenge of going against a Gus Bradley defense?
They're always very well coached. That's the one thing about these defenses and going against Gus over the years is they're very sound. They're well coached, and Gus has a great feel for how to deploy the scheme. It's not an overly complicated scheme. It's not exotic, but he's got just enough to keep you off balance. He pops pressures in spots where maybe you don't expect it. He'll change up when you think you're going to get a particular look. He changes it. He's very aware of what they do and how they do it and what it presents to the offense, and does a great job of mixing those things together. So I've always had a ton of respect for Gus. They've always been hard defenses to play against, and they're always really well coached and disciplined in their approach. There's not a whole lot of easy yards when you play against Gus.